Success is not something you chase. It's who you become. Success isn't something that randomly finds you. It's not a stroke of luck or a favor from fate. It's a natural consequence of who you decide to become every single day. Some people walk into a room and seem to radiate success. But this isn't magic. It's not genetics. It's not coincidence. It's the outcome of years, sometimes decades, of intentional habits, disciplined thinking, and consistent action. The truth? Every successful person follows an invisible script, a pattern of behavior rooted in growth, persistence, and clarity. They show up. They do the work. Not when it's easy, not when it's comfortable, but especially when it's hard. Especially when no one is watching. Meanwhile, others spend years stuck in cycles of procrastination, paralyzed by fear, or distracted by every passing impulse. They wait for motivation. They hope for change. But success doesn't wait. It rewards movement. It honors discipline. So where does success begin? With you. With how you think, what you believe, and what you do when no one else is looking. You become successful not by chasing the outcome, but by becoming the kind of person who attracts it. Your life is like a painting, and your habits, your mindset, your choices, they are the brush strokes. Are you creating a masterpiece, or are you letting someone else hold the brush? Success isn't about collecting trophies. It's about building a self that is aligned with excellence. That means waking up with intention, thinking with purpose, acting with clarity, carrying yourself with quiet power. Have you ever met someone who didn't need to shout to be heard? Their presence alone changed the atmosphere. That's not confidence born overnight. That's years of quiet work, self-reflection, discipline, and the refusal to accept mediocrity. Success flows toward those who prepare themselves to receive it. Think of Edwin C. Barnes. He had a burning desire to partner with Thomas Edison, not to work for him, but with him. With no money, no credentials, and no invitation, he jumped on a freight train just to get in the same room as Edison. He didn't ask for a job. He declared a vision. At first, Edison gave him a tiny role, one that most would have considered beneath them. But Barnes didn't flinch. He showed up, delivered, proved his value. And when the moment finally arrived, when Edison needed someone to sell a new invention, Barnes stepped in. Ready, aligned, prepared. That decision made him a wealthy man. Success didn't chase him. He became the person it had no choice but to follow. Now think of Henry Ford. Before he revolutionized the world with the automobile, he failed more than once. His first companies crumbled. His ideas were mocked. But his vision was clear. A car for the people, affordable, accessible, and he made it happen. Not because the road was easy, but because his belief was unshakable. So ask yourself, who do I need to become to create the life I dream of? The answer isn't in pretending. It's in aligning your identity with your vision. If you want to build wealth, think like a wealth creator. If you want influence, speak and lead like someone who holds it. It's not about faking confidence. It's about earning it. Here's what most people miss. Your identity drives your actions, and your actions shape your future. So if you keep thinking like the person you've always been, you'll keep living the life you've always had. Shift your identity, and everything changes. Success isn't something you pursue endlessly, hoping to catch it. It's something you become so aligned with, it naturally begins to flow your way. Your life is your message. Every moment you are writing it. The question is, are you writing something worth reading? Let's talk about goals. Success is not an accident. It doesn't arrive uninvited. It's built, deliberately, patiently, through clear direction and focused effort. People who drift through life rarely find meaning. They let circumstances decide their path. But if you don't define your own future, someone else will, and the world will hand you a version you never asked for. That's why clarity is everything. Don't just say, "I want to be successful." What does that mean to you? What does it look like? Is it financial freedom, creative fulfillment, leading a team, serving a mission? Define it. Break it down. Reverse engineer it. If you want to build something great, what needs to happen in a year, 6 months, this week, today? Set specific, measurable, time-bound goals. Don't wait until you feel ready. Ready is an illusion. Progress starts with commitment, not comfort. The most successful people aren't the most motivated. They're the most disciplined. They act when it's hard. They act when they're tired. They act even when no one's watching, because they understand. Greatness isn't built in occasional moments of brilliance. It's built in the quiet, repeated choices you make when no one else cares. Edison didn't invent the light bulb on his first try. Ford didn't create the perfect car on his first attempt. They iterated, they adapted, they showed up every single day. Success is not a finish line. It's a lifestyle. And along the way, you will fail. You'll fall. But falling is not the end. It's part of the process. What matters is not how many times you fall, but how many times you rise. Resilience is your greatest asset. Don't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask, "What is this teaching me?" Mental toughness isn't about ignoring pain. It's about using pain as a teacher, as a sculptor, as a purifier. The strongest people aren't the ones who avoid failure. They're the ones who never stay down. And behind it all, one invisible engine drives everything: self-belief. Before the world believes in you, you must believe in you. Not someday, not when you have proof. Now, self-doubt is a liar. It's born from past wounds, not future potential. And belief, just like strength, is built. Every time you take action despite fear, you build it. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen it. The most unstoppable people in history weren't always the smartest, but they were the ones who refused to surrender their self-worth. Walt Disney, the Wright brothers, Oprah Winfrey, all doubted, all dismissed, all underestimated, and all rose. Because they believed before the world believed. Finally, if there's one key that unlocks every door, it's this: discipline. Discipline is not punishment, it's freedom. It's the power to follow through. It's the strength to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Most people wait for motivation, for the right moment. But motivation is fleeting. Discipline stays. Discipline shows up. Start small. Wake up earlier. Stick to one promise today. Build the muscle of discipline, and it will carry you through every challenge, every low, every storm. Because success is not for those who wait. It's for those who create. Discipline, the silent architect of success. Every small act of discipline is like planting a seed. On its own, it may look small, insignificant even. But with time, attention, and consistency, it begins to grow, slowly, quietly. Then suddenly, it transforms everything. One day of discipline feels like a whisper. 1 month of discipline becomes a rhythm. 1 year of discipline turns into a force so powerful that nothing can stand in its way. That's how momentum is born. Not in grand gestures, but in small, repeated actions that compound over time. Think about it. A brilliant strategy is worthless if you don't have the discipline to carry it out. $1 million idea means nothing if you don't have the strength to stay the course when it gets hard. Talent can take you far, but only discipline will take you all the way. Success is not about what you do occasionally. It's about what you do daily. So ask yourself, are your daily habits working for you or against you? Because whether you realize it or not, you are always becoming someone. And the version of you that wins is the one who chooses discipline over distraction, action over excuses, consistency over comfort. There will be days when you want to quit, days when the progress feels invisible. But discipline, real, cultivated discipline, is what keeps you going. It's the steady hand that holds the wheel when motivation vanishes. It's what ensures you show up even when no one's watching. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about doing what must be done, especially when you don't feel like doing it. So don't wait. Don't hope. Don't look for the perfect time. Start now. Build discipline like a muscle. Because in the end, it's not the talented who win. It's the disciplined, the ones who do the work. Adaptability and lifelong learning. Stay sharp or fall behind. In today's world, change isn't coming. It's already here. Fast, constant, and often unpredictable. What worked last year may not work tomorrow, and the most successful people are the ones who don't resist this truth. They adapt, they evolve, they stay ready. They are students, always. They read, they listen, they observe, but most importantly, they apply. Because reading 100 books means nothing if you never apply what you've learned. Listening to a podcast won't change your life unless you turn insight into action. Growth is not a passive process. It requires effort, intention, curiosity. The people who stay ahead aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who keep growing, who never stop asking questions, who seek discomfort because they know that comfort kills progress. Your mind is like a blade. Use it, sharpen it, or let it rust. Be honest. What are you learning today that will make you better tomorrow? Are you challenging your perspective? Surrounding yourself with fresh ideas? Or are you stuck in patterns that no longer serve you? In a world that never stops moving, stagnation is the real failure. And the only way to stay relevant, to stay sharp, is to stay curious. Feed your mind daily. Reflect, test, apply. Because knowledge without action is just potential. But knowledge with action, that's power. Your circle, the company you keep, defines your altitude. Look around you. Your circle is not just background noise. It's shaping you every day. You become like the people you spend the most time with. Their mindset becomes your mindset. Their standards become your standards. Their energy becomes your atmosphere. If your circle is full of excuses, complaints, and comfort zones, you will begin to absorb that energy. But if you surround yourself with those who dream bigger, who act boldly, who live with purpose, you'll rise, naturally, inevitably. This isn't about cutting people off to feel superior. It's about protecting your potential. You don't owe anyone your stagnation, but you owe yourself progress. Every conversation matters. Every interaction leaves a mark. So ask yourself, are these people helping me grow or holding me back? Do they inspire me or drain me? Choose to spend time with people who challenge your limits, who push you higher, and who reflect the kind of person you want to become. Seek mentors who have walked the path you're on. Build relationships with those who believe in your vision, especially when things get hard. Because in the end, your circle isn't just influencing your path. They are helping write your future. From scarcity to abundance. A mindset shift that changes everything. The difference between those who rise and those who remain stuck isn't talent. It's perspective. It's mindset. A scarcity mindset says, there's not enough. If they win, I lose. I have to fight for every scrap. It creates fear, competition, comparison, and worst of all, it creates limitation. But an abundance mindset, it says, there's more than enough. If they can, so can I. Success is not a pie, it's a rising tide. People with this mindset don't fear someone else's success. They use it as fuel. They see challenges as invitations, setbacks as feedback. They believe that life is full of opportunity if you're willing to look for it. Your brain will reinforce whatever belief dominates your thinking. If you constantly feed it fear and doubt, it will filter out opportunity. But if you feed it possibility and belief, it will highlight paths you never saw before. So how do you shift? Start small. Replace I can't with how can I? Replace envy with gratitude. Instead of comparing, start collaborating. The world doesn't lack opportunity. It only lacks people who believe they can rise. Choose abundance. Live from that place. And watch your life expand. Passion and purpose. The fire, not because you were lucky, not because you were gifted, but because you decided.